Hey, what is up, everybody? Hunter Orell back with another great interview. Today, we are joined with PP McTweets. He's the community lead at Pudgy Penguins, and this conversation focuses really strongly on the idea of community and how Pudgy Penguins are approaching it, and not only making it the strongest community, but the largest and most widespread community throughout the globe. I think, especially given the troubling market conditions and a lot of red on the charts. It's been interesting to see how Pudgy Penguins internally has approached this. But even at a more interesting perspective, how they have over the years approached making sure they have the strongest community, empowered them, and proliferated the culture of Pudgy Penguins throughout the world. It's a really fun conversation. I hope you enjoy it. As always, thank you for showing up. I love that everybody shows up and watches these and gives me feedback. As always, enjoy this conversation. Here's PP McTweets. So the last few weeks here have had one company in the headlines. Pudgy Penguins have been all over the timeline. The most seen PFP on the timeline for myself, between Bigs and Lils. Today we're joined with PP McTweets. He is the community lead at Pudgy Penguins. He's a strong advocate. He's been around in the community for years. I remember the OG days when Pudgies were just starting out. He was a prominent name in the community. So glad to have you here. I think we should just start off with, a little bit about who you are and your journey with Pudgy Penguins.
Yeah. First off, thanks for having me, Hunter. So I've been with the community since about a week after Mint, right? My background is I've been in crypto since 2017, 2016, 2017. I really didn't get NFTs, like what made them special. I always thought it was silly. Hey, I'm buying this JPEG on the internet. Why would I do that? And there was a lot of people in my same boat on CT or crypto Twitter, and then Bored Apes took off, and we really started saying, okay, there's something to this. And then so we missed the Bored Ape boat, and then these penguins minted in July, and like a lot of people with the CT background kind of took latch to them because not only like we thought they were funny, like you scroll OpenSea, which is the only thing back there, during that time, and they just made me laugh. They made like a bunch of like CT guys like just really laugh because they're so cute. Some of them had bowl cuts, and it was just like you look at some of the traits; they're very nostalgic because you asked the previous team, "Hey, what do the traits mean?" And so they tried to hit very nostalgic topics like Naruto headband and
Yeah.
like the headband. It's just like all sorts of stuff that just really taps into people's nostalgia vibes. And I think that's what really made them work back in the day, and like why they still work to this day is not only are they cute, but people can really connect to different traits in a certain way. But long story short, CT picked up on these things, started buying them up, and GCR, if you're familiar with GCR, ended up sweeping a ton of them before you could even sweep NFTs. I think he hired like 10 people to just go buy them one by one by one by one, and ended up snagging the Ghost Penguin. And then he put out this thesis, right? Hey, like this is going to be like one of the number one IPs ever. It's going to compete with Doge, and then one day it's going to be so big that people are going to want to participate in what Pudgy Penguins is all about. They're not going to be able to do it because they're not going to be able to afford an NFT. And so he put out this Pengu thesis, and the rest is history.
Incredible. It's wild to think back to those days when, I mean, floor was what, like maybe 1 to 2 ETH back then.
When we first launched, they minted for 0.03 ETH. I think I
Yep.
bought my first Penguin for like 0.2 ETH, right? And then like we went off on this crazy like first bull run of when NFTs took off in that fall of 21. I think we got up to like 3 ETH or something
Yeah.
at the time, and just developed this cult-like mentality because the funny thing about them, like cutest IP ever, right? Like we had these like crypto chads buying them up left and right. You had Brian Pellegrino from
Yep.
Layer Zero buying them, and so like CT guys loved it. They attached themselves to it. They instantly fell in love. And then there was just something about like the NFT culture of like all these people who had just gotten introduced to crypto in 2021. They were like shitting all over penguins, and so like we like the penguin community thought it was the funniest thing ever because like I don't know how you can FUD something like so cute. And so we really developed this culture of memeing people's cope and seethe about these penguins because there's really nothing funnier to us than like people getting mad at this like cute penguin IP. And yeah, that's how I really got involved in the community. Was I was known for like making these videos and like for previous NFTs and like all sorts of like anytime I was in like a meme coin or something I wanted to pump, I would make a meme video, post it on Twitter, and it would go crazy. But that's how I kind of got my name in Penguins, was like making meme videos. And it's funny to think about like those old days and like just anytime someone would get mad, just like memeing it and turning it into like new lore. And like we have a meme now, it's like the history of the world, which is this thick, and then the like Pudgy Penguins lore, and it's this thick. But that's what our community was like really started off with, was a bunch of crypto chads who were buying their first NFT because all their other friends were buying it, and it was their first time really discovering how fun it could be to like join a community that's based off this image. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, an early rally cry from a group of like-minded individuals who kind of defended against the FUD of, hey, we don't think you guys belong. It strengthened it. And
Hmm.
you're kind of pointing to like, you were an early participant and how things shaped up. I remember back in the earliest days, like the earliest days, you had a space called Chillin'
Yeah, dude.
with Moose, Agent, and I think Bo,
Yeah.
and it was Pudgy Penguin specific.
Yeah.
And you guys showed up, and like I remember thinking like, wow, that's I mean, because others had kind of done it, but you guys, the consistency and the passion was, I think, a little bit different. Because it stands out. I remember that, and that was 2021, 22. I can't
Yeah.
remember when you were doing. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was early.
We were doing that spaces once a week, and tried to stay to it for as long as we could. And then recently we kicked it up last week, actually. Now we're doing it nightly, every single night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Hunter, you're more than welcome to come on.
I'm
And
there.
the cool part about it is like we don't have set guests. Like big names pop on there left and right. It's not a show about penguins. It's a show that penguins can come, hang out, and just talk about God knows what. And so that show in itself has developed its own lore. And yeah, we just make fun of each other and just have fun. And every single night for the past week, we've had someone new pop up and say, "Hey, I'm just tuning in for the first time." Because like normally when you're hosting a space, I don't know about you, like if you see like a strange like profile that wants to come up, you just ignore it because
It's
there's
it's it's oh, people don't understand. It is tricky bringing
yeah,
up speakers as a space
there-
host. Like it's Russian roulette.
yeah. So we like that. Like we like randos coming on and just playing off of what they say. And if they say something off the wall, then so be it. Like we just have fun with it. And yeah, chilling has been something for our community to do, and it's becoming even bigger now that we've launched it nightly.
Love that. Absolutely love that. Can you explain for those who might not be fully familiar with your position as community lead? Can you explain what that entails and like your goal as community lead is?
Yeah. So, before Pingu, we started off with roughly 4,000, 5,000 holders of the Penguin NFTs. And that number's grown significantly, right? And so now we have close to 600,000 holders of Pingu and Pudgy Penguin NFTs combined. So, my goal as community lead, make sure the community is having fun. That's the most important thing. And so you'll see me tweeting memes still to this day, and have our community team tweets them as well. And basically, like we try to find like good ways to push narratives throughout the community that kind of match what we're doing as a brand. Think of it, it's keeping the community happy and giving them something to do and making sure like we have events and stuff planned for them. But for the most part, you're basically just trying to have something for them to do and look forward to on a daily, weekly basis. We have poker tournaments in Discord, and yeah, it's a lot of fun, a lot of pressure, and yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way though.
Community is the heartbeat and I would say the lifeblood of any NFT project, but honestly, at this point, any Web3 project, right? I'm curious, like, we didn't see this in Web 2. We didn't
Yeah.
see community lead was not a thing that existed. Um, why can you maybe share your opinion on
Yeah.
your thought process there?
Yeah, so we have a whole marketing department too, obviously, because you've seen us in, Walmart and Target.
Everywhere. Where
We have,
haven't we seen you
yeah,
guys?
we have to push that stuff as well, and like we're on TikTok and Instagram. So we have our own marketing department thinking about like, hey, how can we reach the Web 2 side of things? But honestly, it's kind of on our plate as a community team, and my job specifically is like, what can we do to ignite Web 3 and grow our community? And so I think we've done a pretty good job thus far. And so, yeah, just honestly, it's like if you can find ways to have your community have fun, and they'll do. I wouldn't say they will do a lot of the work for you, but I don't know if you're familiar. Like back in the day, like for concerts and stuff, you'd have these things called street teams, right? And so street teams would go out, put flyers out all over the place when like a band was coming to town, and they would earn points and basically just they're like basically super fans. And so community in my mind is like you have this like huge like superpower, especially with Pudgy Penguins, that you can tap into. And not only do they give you good ideas, they give you good feedback on how you can improve things. So we do this thing once every other week with Luca called Inner Igloo in our Discord. We just opened it up for Pengu holders as well. So if you do hold Pengu, over 250K Pengu, you can go in Discord, get your role, come check out Inner Igloo. We do that every other week in Discord, and basically it's just a time for the team, mainly Luca, to hop up and say, "Hey, here's what we're working on. Here's some things that have happened over the past week," and kind of give like a little scoop on like what we have planned in store. But the cool part about it is it gives the community an opportunity to hop up on stage and give feedback, give ideas, and actually our toys that you see in Walmart and Target, we're just going to do toys and put them out there. And somebody came up on the Inner Igloo stage, was like, "Hey, why don't you use this as kind of like a red pill to get people on chain somehow? Like put QR codes with the toys, and that way you can get people who are buying the toys, and basically make it like the biggest on chain like push ever." And so that's what they did, and that idea spawned from the community. So just taking feedback from the community and running with it has been like a game changer for us.
It really I mean, you can tell. It has been.
Yeah.
And I can tell from the chats that I'm in and you're in as well that you have some very connected, powerful people that they just love the brand and they feel like they're part of the community and they immediately it's interesting. Their minds go to how can I support?
Yeah.
Not how can I make money off of this, but
And
oh
yeah,
hey, I know this person or I run this. How do we work together?
and that was kind of like the mindset going into Pingu too, because like we as a whole, like Web 3, really like had Penguins back. 'Cause, like whenever we went to Walmart, you saw people going out there sweeping toys, buying as many toys as they could, and just supporting us because like we were doing things differently in the space. Like we even had other collections traits, like when you like scan the QR code, get a new trait. So we're pushing the space forward, and they had our backs, right? So like, how can we get those people to not only support us but actually be a part of our community? And so that's why you saw the Pingu drop so massive, because people who have supported us for so long but couldn't have access to that little Pudgy or big Pudgy price tag, they were now able to support us by buying Pingu and pushing Pingu.
Yeah, you could definitely see that
Yeah.
excitement when it launched, especially on the lower, I think, sizing
Yeah.
portion of buys. It was pretty cool to see. Um, one thing that I want to kind of dive into on this idea of like community is Pudgy is the first project, in my opinion, that has dominated the idea of global community. And, not only from a like, hey, we're addressing our Asia market as well as Euro, as well as, North America, but also addressing like IRL events, making
Mhm.
that a core part. Can you talk about why that is important to the brand?
Yeah. So I'll kind of go back to, when I first started talking about like the CT culture latching on to these things. there's a lot of giga brain people who hold penguins, and you kind of look at it as almost like a networking tool, right? So like we have fun parties where people can come and celebrate and have fun, but honestly, like the people that you're able to connect with and like just be around as a penguin holder, it's pretty remarkable, right? So you can come to our events and hang out with Alex Ivanovic from Nansen, shout out Alex, or Brian Pellegrino from Layer Zero, and just basically talk to them and have like this commonality that you wouldn't have if you weren't both penguin holders. And so I think that's been a huge game changer for us. And then we think about that anytime we do our own events is, yeah, make this fun for the community, but also have stuff there where people can go conversate, make deals happen. It's just been a huge unlock.
I know a fellow friend who closed one of his biggest deals at a Pudgy Penguins event.
No way.
Uh, I I
Can you drop the details on that? I would love to know.
I can offline. I will
Okay.
say it was a OTC venture type deal, and they had never met before. I was standing next to Tropo at the
Yeah.
arcade game last year at Art Basel. He bumped me, and I was like, "Oh, you should meet him." And then they started talking, and I got a text later in the night. He's like, "Oh, I'm doing the deal with the guy," and I was like, "No
That's
way!" And yeah, uh,
That's incredible. I think to me, Art Basel has always been like the funnest thing that we've done because it's home base, right? Luca and crew are right down the street, and so that's almost like our it's like a family reunion kind of thing.
I
So
look forward to the Pudgy event every year.
yeah,
It's Art Basel, my favorite week of the year, but the Pudgy event every time is like a family reunion.
it is. Yeah,
Um,
you get to see people that a lot of people just go to that Art Basel event, and so you get to see them once a year. But like we're going to be at ETH Denver, we're going to be in Paris. We have stuff throughout the entire year. And Token 2049 was actually really fun last year as well. So
I've
yeah,
yet to do that. I will be in Paris. Don't know about Denver, but I'll definitely see you all there.
yeah,
Um, Luca, obviously, I hate always. He is the leader, right?
yeah,
And I hate to say that he is Pudgy Payman because it's so bigger than that, and I hope people understand that. I think
yeah,
people forget that he is one guy, and I get that you can look to him, but you and every other holder is equally empowered to make this a cultural phenomenon and proliferate what is happening
yeah.
underneath the Pudgy Penguins brand. I'm curious though, from your perspective, what is it like working with Luca? What is it like when going through this crazy, crazy roller coaster that is launching Pengu?
It's been great working with Luca. I think when he took the project over, being a long time holder, we didn't know what to expect. We didn't really know Luca, but like he came in and before like papers were even signed or anything like that, he came into the Discord and like every single night for like 3 weeks straight. Was talking to the community, getting their feedback and stuff, and instantly, like we had this little group chat off on the side. We instantly knew, like, hey, this was the guy, and like he really cares about it, and he really does. Like he's very passionate about not only Pudgy Penguins the IP, but the community. He always wants to see the community win. But working for Luke is great. He's a go getter, and he like is like grinding 24/7, which excites me because like that's kind of my background too on trying to make this thing work without being on the team. Is like you're constantly doing whatever you can to get people to talk about Pudgy Penguins, and so yeah, we get along good, and he really, really loves the community and like wants to hear their input on whatever we're doing.
I've noticed that he
But one
take
thing, Hunter, you did bring up a good point. Like I wanted to touch on it is like you see posts like this all the time. It's like, hey, like I just bought my first Pudgy, just bought my first little because I believe in Luca Nets. So like we love that. We love
I get it. I love it,
yes.
but
Yes. So it's much bigger than Luca. So like generals don't win wars without armies, right? So the huddle, the Penguins, we're the army. Luca's our leader. But you really, really have to believe in the community and like lean on the community if you want to win. And I think that's what's gotten us this far, really, is like taking that leadership and just running with it as a community and supporting it and pushing it. And yeah,
I think even a broader idea about like the individuality of all these pieces is abstract is its own thing.
Yeah.
Pudgy Penguins is not abstract. It is its own unique project that succeeds on its own. And then again, Luca is not encompassing of like one individual thing. He is just a CEO and a leader of a broader huddle of people and teams and companies. I think that's something I hope people can take away from this part of the conversation, that they are all individual, even though it feels almost natural in your mind to say, "Hey, it's one thing." It's not.
Yeah. And it's every little bit helps, right? So like if you think your voice doesn't matter, or you think, hey, like maybe I don't have to tweet about Pudgy Penguins today. I don't have to like put hashtag Pingu in comments and drop gifs. We have 40 billion GIF views for a reason. Like we have that many GIF views because our community like sends these everywhere. Like we use them as comments, you use them in text messages, so much so that the Giphy algorithm loves us so much because we use these GIFs everywhere. So you could search anything on Giphy and not even include the word penguin or pudgy or whatever. And most of the time, one of our GIFs is going to be on the top result because our community uses it so much that it always pushes it to the top of the algo. So don't think that just because you hold a pudgy penguin and or a little pudgy, you can just sit on your flippers and do nothing and count on Luca. Like we really need everybody pushing this if we want to succeed. It's not going to take just Luca; it takes everybody.
And it can be in the smallest way possible. Like
Mhm.
before I even owned a penguin, I have to say this: I bought this toy before I even owned a penguin, and not to say that the dollar amount in my bank account or anything is relevant, but I saw something that I liked and I said, "I wanna participate in it." And
Yeah,
I wanna be and then it turned into me tweeting about it and kind of talking to Luca, and I think, kind of the mentality you have to have, not only just for penguins, but I think for anything in Web3 or Web2. You have to, if you see something you like, participate in whatever way. Don't think, "Oh, it has to mean me, going and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever."
yeah. I remember when you joined it. What's been the network effect for you? Like, how has been being a part of this community affected stuff that you do?
That's a great question. I think it's a valid immediate validator for some people when they see the PFP.
Yeah,
And that I think resonates, and I don't think from a dollar amount. I think it resonates from like a what do you stand for, and like who do you
yeah,
align with in this space. Um, I think also from a networking effect, I've met some of the smartest, most connected people through the Penguin Network, and that only comes from, and here's the thing, you can't just buy it and be like, "All right, give it all to me."
yeah,
It it was from being like, "Hey, I bought a Penguin. Who do I need to follow?" Following people, DMing them, having conversations like this, going into the group chats, but showing up day and day again where, "Oh, hey man, like I've seen your name in here. Like my name's Hunter. Like can we chat?" You jump into a private DM, and then all of a sudden, like I have a guest coming on the stream in a couple weeks who, in a million years, never, ever, ever would have expected that I'd have like a private, or not a private comment, but a stream conversation with that kind of person.
yeah.
But that comes out of being active and clearly being part of the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to hear that. So I think that's one thing too. Is like this network effect that you can get from just holding a pudgy penguin. You saw it whenever we announced the airdrop. You saw like a lot of farmers just pile in, buy penguins, claim the penguin, pingu, dump the penguins. They're missing out on so much. It's not what it's about really. It's about I like what you said. It's like it basically is a stamp of approval of like, hey, what you're all about. And from the get-go we've tried to do things the right way. And I think it's we have the right community, the right people in the community, and are doing the right things in the space, that you wearing a penguin shows the rest of crypto that, hey, like this is what I'm about. So love that.
Yeah, I think that's for like on the PFP side, I think that's what we've seen. Like you have these communities that just immediately, like I think Milady is another good one, that when they see another person with Milady PFP, they're like, I know exactly what vibe you're on. Which is funny, just
Yeah,
for so many reasons for some of these collections. Um, but I have to say, like, the communities that I feel like are inviting and aren't price talk all day long. And I get it. It becomes a topic. And the last few weeks have been for everybody have been very stressful. Um I think almost the communities that can withstand even when there's a portion of the community that's like, doomsday talking and fudding and being like, why did I do this? When the community member has members that step up and say, "Hey guys, like let's keep order here. I get it. Like let's remember why we're in this." And there's a calm. I think that has been I've noticed, especially in some of the chats even you're in,
Yeah,
we've seen some strength there. And that's what separates a real community from again, a community that's just there for dollar gains.
definitely remember where you came from, and I think that's one of our strongest strengths, right? Is we minted at 0.03 ETH. We had this crazy rise up and crazy drag down. We've done that several times as penguins, and we were like stuck in like a we call it the 2.4 ETH purgatory for the longest time, that penguins have been tested so many times. They even had like eggs dropped to them like as gifts, and when you open the eggs on Christmas Day, they hatch fishing rods. So I think that was like that was the rod that broke Luca's back, right? Right? It's like that whenever he opened his egg up and it was a fishing rod. The funny story is he messaged agents on Instagram. It was like, dude, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, and then, dude, I think that's honestly what spurred him to like want to purchase a project, is because like he knew the strength of the community, how strong the community was, didn't agree with how the team was running things, and knew he could do a better job. And thank God he did. It's been great.
I always say I'm glad I didn't buy Pudgy Penguins, because I never would have lived up
Oh
to
no,
what it's
I don't think it's we the things that have happened to Pudgy Penguins. It's like this weird synergy that it's uh, through the ups and the downs. It's like somebody out there with like a higher power has got like penguins back. So
there's a
yeah,
penguin looking down from above.
yeah,
Um, I'm curious, from a perspective of, abstract is its own thing, but its launch, how that, I'd love to just talk like very briefly
yeah,
on abstract and the integration of, where Pengu's played in. I think tipping has been a
yeah,
really cool area. Um, and also like penguins. We've seen a lot of nods to that in NFT projects, etc.
yeah.
Curious if you can touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So, we've been, hyped about using abstract for a while because, it's not meant for, our current CT crowd or like DJing crowd, which they are adding things to it to like cater to that group. But thinking bigger picture of like, hey, how do you get all these people that you want to get on chain on chain? There's really no easy way to tell them, hey, go to this site, go download this wallet, and blah blah blah. It's like it really gets complicated really quick. This, they go to the website, sign up with their email, they have a wallet, they can fund it from Coinbase or a card, and just start going. And so I think that onboarding experience has been very friendly to new people. And you've seen penguins like really just like start having fun on there. The streaming's been huge. And I think the stream, and one of the things I told people is like, there's so many streamers like on Twitch and like YouTube that it's very saturated. And like if you're an up and coming streamer trying to get your, an audience built, I don't think there's a better place right now than abstract. And the reason being is like there's not a lot of people streaming, but there are more and more people using that chain and trying to have fun and figure it out. So if you can set yourself apart on abstract, I think you're going to be, having fun and growing your name. And I've already seen a few people do it. And I think tipping Pengu as you don't look at it as like a Pengu utility, just use it as a way to like think, all right, tipping Pengu is a good way to continue to proliferate that penguin and that Pengu name. So like, especially when the new streamers start coming on who, aren't familiar with crypto that much. And like, there's probably gonna be some big names joining. And when people start tipping them in Pengu, I guess I'm talking about Pengu. Sort of like the Walmart toys. It was never about like how many toys can we sell in Walmart and how much money can we make from selling these toys. It was about getting that IP in front of millions of people's faces sort of like our Giphy views. And yeah, so there's a lot of people out there who know about penguins who aren't on chain yet, and Abstract gives them the easier way to get on chain.
I always think about oh man, I can't remember his name. It's the guy who owns the Golden Nugget, but he talks about how many times it takes a repeat customer at a restaurant to become a repeat
Yeah,
customer, and I think it's like they have to come 4 times before they'll come the 10th, right? Like
yeah,
if they don't make it to the fourth, they'll never come back almost.
yeah,
Um, but it's very true on like the IP side. You need to get the penguin in front of people in multiple different ways, multiple different times until there's a point where it's just like, oh, I've seen this everywhere. What is this? Or oh, it's the penguin again. Like
yeah.
you have to, and it can't just be Twitter, it can't just be Walmart. It has to be all of these, a large kind of landscape all at once, and you have to do it well.
And it's funny, like we have this great Web3 community, the best in my opinion, and others. But I think we're growing this like huge Web2 audience community as well through Instagram and now Facebook. Like our stuff's taken off on Facebook, and you develop these people who just fall in love with the brand, the IP. And I would say probably 95% of them aren't on chain yet, but they're familiar with this penguin. They're familiar with everything that we're doing. They've fallen in love with it. We've been to Comic-Con the past 2 years. That first year, people were like learning who we were. People were coming to the claw machine trying to win toys. Second year, we had repeat people who come to Comic-Con every year, and we're just like they came to our booth like instantly because we were like right across from Nickelodeon. So you see like SpongeBob over here, and then Pudgy Penguins right here. So
Strategic placement.
yeah, it was great. And so like you saw people lining up. I posted videos like people were lining up at our booth like all the way around, blocking other booths. We
No
got told
way.
several times like, hey, you guys got to do something about this line. I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not doing anything about the line. That's not our fault. Too many people want to be here. So it's been really cool to see. Like not only our Web3 community just push penguins and like embrace everything that we're doing, but to see people who aren't on crypto at all fall. Yeah, there you go. I think that's our first Comic-Con. But
Yeah, this is
yeah,
23. Yeah.
yeah. Last year was even crazier. We had an off-site location, and there's a building in public that we posted where like we had lines out the door and people were just lining up getting igloos and yeah, man. There's the
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I mean, and you guys have absolutely crushed like the kind of just feeling like you're in the middle of Pudgy World.
yeah.
Um which is, and you have Peach is the one, oh my god, I'm going to get
It's Pax and Polly. So
Polly. Yeah.
the blue and the blue is Pax, the pink is Polly, but the blue is also known as Pengu now because so many people are familiar with that blue iconic penguin. It's on the face of the coin, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some shit for not knowing that one,
Oh,
but
you're good, man. You're good.
it's been a long few weeks, guys. Give me some break.
You're good.
Pudgy World is a whole nother side to this, which is, I know Pudgy World has not gone on like this crazy push of it because it's out there. You can go use Pudgy World.
There's like a pre-alpha version that you
Yep.
can use now. So like if you scan a QR code, you can get your traits and like walk around and see kind of what the vibe's going to be like. But not a lot of people have actually seen what it's going to be. It's I've done a few play tests with like some community members. It's going to be really fun, and it's think of it less of like a game you can go and like you spend hours on. It's a good place to just like hang out and like earn XP with your friends, walk around at like it's kind of like Club Penguin was back in the day, but just like a better version of Club Penguin. And it's got this 3D environment. You can walk around. There's mini games you can play and compete and like get high scores with your friends and try to like, see who can get the highest score. But I think it's really addicting. And that's coming later. I don't want to give any dates, but it's coming soon and it'll be on Abstract. So
Yeah, I have tried with Tropo live on stream before to get him to leak alpha, but he's been locked down on it. He won't.
hopefully I didn't leak too much, but
No, you're good.
it's a lot of fun to play, and it's less of a less of a game and more of just like an experience that you can further grow like as a community and like just hang out with your friends. Yeah.
We haven't really we haven't seen this before from anybody, which is there hasn't been like a 24/7, "Hey, this isn't just a play test. This isn't just a, a server test load event." No, and
Dude,
no hate to what Yuga's doing, right? But
yeah.
we don't have like a leading NFT company with a game.
Yeah, and what you guys doing is it's a completely different thing, and like the other side's awesome. But I think one of the things, like I'm gonna give a shout out to the devs over at Pudgy World because like to pull off what they've pulled off and it being all browser based, you don't have to download anything. It'll even work on mobile. Like you just pull up the website and start going. It's pretty incredible what they're able to pull off, and it all being just browser based game.
Jeez. I
Yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait to see what the final product will look like. I can't wait for I hope they have sled racing because I was a bit again, I was a big Club Penguin fan back in the day. I'm happy to admit that. I'm proud to admit that.
I think
Yeah,
most of us were. If you're in the space now, like you were on Club Penguin back in the day.
I'm curious if you guys did a poll of Pengu and Penguin holders, what percentage at some point have played Club Penguin? Um,
I would say for the age demographic for like the majority of our holders, I would say it's probably very high. The people who are familiar with it or played it back in the day.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I'm curious, also we've kind of talked about all of these different areas on the community side. Are there any new ways that you guys are thinking about approaching community? I think content has certainly been the latest kind of push at that.
Hmm.
But I'm curious also from your eyes, or I guess strategy wise, what like the real future, like even further and further down the line, what that looks like.
Yeah, I think with the amount of new people who have come on and like are just Pingu holders, most of them are still on Solana, and so like we're trying to connect with Solana communities who may have a little bit of Pingu, and been really like in talks with Solana Foundation and like doing events with them and like doing these little pop ups where you can educate people about the community who may have a little Pingu but not have all the backstory. But one of the things that we're really pushing with this new strategy is like there's so many new holders who have Pingu who don't know the lore, who don't know the backstory, who don't know all of this. And so that's one thing that we're going to start doing is not only do we have all these new news announcements that we're dropping, we're periodically going to like, drop an announcement that's happened, a year or two ago who like for these new people who may not know, hey, like, you know, we were the number one toy on Amazon for 2 weeks, or may not know like lore that got us to where we are about rogs and eggs, for instance, and
Right.
just joke around with these new people, getting them more in touch with what got us here, and I think that's very important.
I think I've always told people will buy into the story, into
Yeah,
the people. They won't just buy into something, because I've seen a ton of there's a ton of cute other NFT projects out there, and not to say that I don't think Pengu or Penguins are the most, cute project out there, but
they are.
no, that that I look, that's just but that's not at the end of the day, like, you can't just drop a cute thing and be like, "Alright,
Yeah,
it's gonna go to 30th floor." There has to be something that people are buying into,
yeah,
uh, and that's a
and
huge part.
And I think with Penguins, like you're not only buying into the cuteness of the IP, you're also buying into the fact that hey, like this cute IP is already successful. I made a tweet the other day, like it took 20 years for Star Wars to get Pez dispensers. It took them, to this day they're at like 18 billion views on Giphy. While Pudgy Penguins hasn't been out for like 4 years yet. July will be our 4 year anniversary. We're about to have Pez dispensers. We're at 40 billion views on Giphy and growing. And I think getting excited about that and like the potential, and already knowing like, hey, like this has already had like great success and it's not even 4 years old yet. You're really thinking long term because like we're not going anywhere. If you think back, like during the bear market, like a lot of teams who are like really loud and people are paying attention to this day, or like right now, they didn't make a peep during the bear market, but like Pudgy Penguins just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. We didn't care about price. We cared about the community, and we cared about like just making sure our IP got out there, and was everybody was familiar with it. And so we're not going to stop doing that. And I think shout out to people like Spencer, who like did OCAP games, like trading card game.
Yep.
Such a good game. And he used something that we have called Overpass to license a bunch of penguins and put them on the face of cards. And now you think about it, like that taps into like a whole nother aspect of people familiar with like Pokemon cards, and remembering ripping packs and trying to get their rare like Pikachu. But like this is that on another level, because like I get this vibe like whenever I'm like ripping packs, like somebody who like knows and loves the community and like knows pretty much every penguin, like you'll rip a pack and oh, that's Saucy, oh, that's Husker, like you can name, like it's a weird feeling because it's not like a Charizard or a Bulbasaur. It's like one of your best friends that you talk to every day on a
Exactly.
card. Like, and so many people are falling in love with that game who have no ties to the community, but being a part of the community and like seeing like your best friends like penguin on a card, whole nother level. And I think stuff like that just makes the holders even more long-term holders, because it's more stuff that they can connect to and like make it part of their life. So
Earlier in this interview or conversation, I brought up kind of the idea of like Web 2 versus Web 3 and why
yeah,
community matters. I think the fact that you all of a sudden have people that have actual ownership in some way of these assets, um, and it turns it into like a community of like holders and owners is super powerful there. But I always come back to, and I've had this, I guess, like the framework of a book laid out for years since 2021. And I want to write a book called like The Community Economy, because that's where we've changed to.
yeah,
It is a economy where if you can build and empower and embrace the people that want to own your stuff and use your stuff, you're setting yourself up for success. And this
yeah,
is far different from, yeah, I always use Gucci as the example. Gucci does not have a community. Gucci has walking, like you are a walking billboard for Gucci.
right,
They do not care who you are. They don't care how much you own. They just want you to represent their brand. Cool, whatever. But that's changed so much. I view Pudgy as a luxury brand in some sense. Um, and I think that they empower people to, like, when they wear the hoodie, they should feel like, "Oh, wait, like, I'm part of this. Like,
yeah.
I'm in this brand that I'm wearing."
Yeah, you're exactly right. I'm not representing this brand. I am this brand. Like you're part of it, you know? So I
Yes.
love that idea for the book. And we talk about it to this day. It's like having a solid community, it's almost like your own separate uh marketing firm. Like not having a good community, you could do all the marketing in the world and it's just not going to matter, because like having that core group of individuals who's going to like champion every single thing that you do, no matter, it's there's nothing else out there like it. And if they feel like they're a part of it, it's unstoppable. Like you said, Gucci doesn't have it, even Nike doesn't have that. Shout out to all my Clonexes out there, love you guys. But like it's like you think back, like Clonex, like I thought it was a great project. I'm even wearing the shoes now, but like you think back some of the stuff that they said, like it's their community was strong, but it was always rallying around the fact like, hey, like this is Nike's thing, like we're gonna like this is why it's great. But like, and that's why we can kind of going back to that topic of like pointing out like, hey, like I'm just joining the huddle because I'm confident in Luca Nets. Like we love Luca, but like the most important part about Pudgy Penguins is the fact that we have this community who's ride or die, and we've been through bear market, we've been through bull market. We don't care. Like we're not getting rid of our penguin, and we're just going to keep pushing it everywhere and every how we can.
I think that's, again, when the times get tough, you gotta lean in,
Yeah,
and the communities that are leaning in, staying positive, are the strongest ones that'll stick around.
yeah,
Um Yeah, and I know it's been a hard week for everybody, and I hope if you're listening here, you can take a deep breath and understand that even if things this isn't the end, it might not be, um, you know, that you have people next to you that you can talk to and
Yeah.
um yeah, just weather the storm with the community. That's
And
all you
that's
can
one
do.
thing too. Like that's one way we decided to start doing these chilling podcasts every single night, because like it gives the community something to do every single day. It's like, I don't have to go to this, but I know this is available and I can hop up and hang out. It reminds me a lot of like I used to play Xbox Live like religiously and play Call of Duty all the time. Just hanging out with your friends and just playing to play. We even had a guy hop up there. I don't want to say his name, but he hopped up there night before last. He was like, "Guys, like, I just want to thank you for doing this every single night because I've been a penguin holder for a while. I just ended like a 3-year relationship, having a hard time, and like having this community to turn to and just listen and have fun and goof off and not really care about anything but like hanging out with my friends has made his life a little better." So
I love that.
yeah,
I love that. Well, look, PP, I think there's a lot of good and a lot of I think lessons that even other members of other communities should take away from this. And I hope for the Pudgy Penguin and Pengu holders that have listened for this, they can step away from this, I think, with a clearer vision of what they're a part of and how to again make proliferate the Pudgy Penguin brand.
yeah.
Um, I'm curious if there's any other areas or initiatives within the Pudgy community that we should be aware of or you want to highlight.
Yeah. So I'll kind of start off with our Telegram. So like we tried to launch this Telegram whenever we launched Pingu, and like a lot of our community piled in from the very get go. Right. It's called Pingu Army, and it slowed like for the first week or two we were just bombarded with like support tickets and like people like chiming in, and like it made so many people mute that chat. And so with claims ending next day or two, we want to basically revitalize that Telegram because it's now less of a support ticket chat and more of like we're pushing updates there, we're having fun in there. So if you haven't joined Pingu Army yet, make sure you join Pingu Army, and don't be a stranger, just type in there like goof off. Like that's what it's there for. There's a price bot, so anytime someone buys a big chunk of Pingu, that goes off. But I think as a community, we kind of have to drown out some of the please help sirs in there. So we kind of got bombarded with the airdrop and everything in there. So
Yeah, those early hours of the airdrop were a little crazy.
bombarded that Telegram, and we're trying to clean that up a bit. So like if you are on Telegram, make sure you join Pingu Army and help us out in there and just have fun.
um I guess I think worth highlighting here is anybody who's listening, if you haven't, claim your Pengu.
Yeah.
Claim period ends tomorrow
Uh,
or
Next day or two. Yeah.
yeah, I should know this. I feel bad I don't know. Let me double check because this is important. Um, the claim period for Pengu does end here.
I think
Okay,
I think it's either tomorrow or early Wednesday morning.
yeah, yeah,
So
it's not today. It doesn't look like. I think
uh,
it's,
go out
but
there and claim it if you
yeah,
haven't
claim it. That is the doesn't matter. Just go claim it right now. It's gonna burn. I think we'll see about 13%, 12.5% get burned
Yeah.
here, which is significant. And then I know you guys have announcements up the sleeve. I know you guys have been working your butts off. And yeah, I know there's a lot to come
Yeah.
down the road here. And I'm sure the community will be thrilled with it, and I'm sure the community will be tweeting and shouting it from the
Oh yeah.
rooftops as some of these come out.
And I think too is like one thing to remember is like as we come out with these announcements, like drop a comment, drop a GIF, push it. Uh, and I talked about it earlier, but like if you're a holder of Pingu or Pudgy Penguin, now's not the time to sit on your flippers and just wait for Luca to do something, right? This is an attention economy, especially in a bull market. In a bear market, yeah, we got by and we did really good because nobody else was doing anything. We're the only ones doing stuff. So the entire space was championing what we're doing. But in a bull market, it's the exact opposite. You're fighting for noise every single day. And like we can't just sit on our flippers. Like we got to get out there and push Pingu and Penguins, every chance we get.
And that doesn't mean just on X. I'm
No,
starting to
yeah,
notice this. We're starting to see more of like, hey, post this on Facebook, post this on
yeah,
Instagram. Like, don't be scared to, because it isn't like I would be hard pressed to post some crypto things on Instagram, right? But
yeah,
penguins feel like it is not a it's not just a token or a currency. It is a brand, it's an IP, it
right,
has lore, and we're talking about something that's been on stores within
yeah,
Walmart, and it's been on Pez dispensers, and yeah, like it feels, I at least feel more comfortable posting that there, not having like a girl I know be like, "The hell are you posting
yeah,
about?"
and
Like
that's dude, you've been to a Pudgy Penguins event. Speaking of like girls and crypto, like we have so many like awesome female holders. But like,
100%.
dude, going to an event, like I I promise you, going to a Pudgy Penguin event versus like any other crypto event, the male to female ratio is great at Pudgy.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so, it's something I love to see is like we're very open to, having not just dudes like sweaty dudes hanging around and stuff. So, and I think honestly, like our IP and the cuteness and like having all these Instagram reels that relate to like couples, um, really helps that because like if you go to our Instagram and see like some of the comments, a lot of it are like girls like tagging their boyfriend because it reminds the pink and blue remind them of them. So we're slowly or rapidly actually growing that base and welcoming them into our community.
I would be strongly surprised if you guys did not have the best demographic breakdown in Web3,
Yeah.
for distribution between male and female. Have you guys had a penguin love story yet? Like, "Oh, I we both met at a penguin party," or
Yes.
oh, actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't.
I don't know if they're still together, but like,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
there several people have like, found either their significant other or just found like lifelong friends that they look forward to talking to every single day.
I
But
was gonna say, if you haven't had the first wedding, from people I've met at a penguin
yeah,
event,
yeah, the first wedding we have, like I think we have to convince Luca to officiate it or
yeah.
something, or
Alright,
like
well, next penguin event, yeah,
yeah,
have him officiate it.
have the blow up mascots up there next to the pastor would be fantastic.
I have to look for my wife at the next penguin event to get that sweet, sweet content
Yeah,
out
you
of
have
out of
to. Yeah,
Oh god, that's too funny. Well, man, I can't thank you enough for hopping on here,
yeah,
and
man.
talking about what's going on with penguins and Pengu, and I think you embody the spirit of the community, and I'm so glad that they have you on the team.
I appreciate that.
Um, and yeah, man, everything
Uh,
you're doing is amazing.
I will say our community is so great. It makes my job easy sometimes because all I have to do is just keep those guys happy and keep those guys stuff to do. And Army is getting bigger and bigger every single day. But let's do this again sometime, Hunter, and make sure you come to chilling
I will be. You shoot me a DM. I'll be there. I think you're doing it tonight. It's every night, right?
every night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're
I
there.
on the calendar. I'll be there. Everybody, if you're not already, make sure you're following PP McTweets. His name is in the title, and make sure you're also following Pudgy Penguins. And check out Pengu and everything that we've talked about here. It's an amazing community. I'm a participant, obviously, and I love everything they're doing. So thanks for tuning in, PP. Thank you. We'll catch you all on the next one.